right?
Mm-hmm.
I should probably keep looking.
Do you think there's something better than Vera Wang? I'm sorry, do they keep that next to the something that is better than chocolate? No. Get the dress.
What if you change your mind?
Just be very careful about any pre-wedding weight gain. You don't alter a Vera to fit you, you alter yourself to fit Vera.
Weight gain, please.
Oh, well, you can't buy love, but you can buy a designer wedding dress. That is, if you can afford it. And the dress is just part of the cost of getting hitched. The average American wedding costs $28,000. That is 2/3 of the average annual salary of $42,000. Here with more on the high costs of the wedding season is Stacy Francis, President and CEO of Francis Financial. Good morning to you, Stacy.
Good morning.
I cannot believe the price just keeps ticking up and up and up.
I know, we're actually at nearly 2008 levels, and so we are spending a lot more. In fact, couples are saying that they're going to be spending this year 59% more than they did just last year. So it is going up.
What are some of the biggest expenses now?
You know, the biggest expenses is definitely the catering venue, well over $10,000. We're also looking at your photographer, and looking good does not come cheap.
No.
Flowers, decorations, of course, entertainment, and finally, the dress. The dress, that's going to put you back at least $1,000.
That seems like a bargain to me, from what I've heard.
I know. It can be a whole lot more, trust me, based on what many people spend, especially for that Vera Wang.
As a New Yorker, I'm not surprised to also hear that venue plays a big part in how much you're going to end up paying.
Venue plays a huge part, and interestingly enough, the Big Apple, we always think of it as a pretty expensive place to be and live. Guess what? It's also the most expensive place to have a wedding. Over $65,000 for that wedding. And the best idea, if you have a tight budget, have a destination to West Virginia. Destination wedding, only $14,000 for a beautiful blowout wedding in West Virginia. Who knew?
That's an interesting conversation with your potential spouse.
How do you feel about West Virginia?
Well, let's talk a little bit about budgeting for a wedding. I mean, what are the big things that you should be aware of that will cost you a lot?
Well, the first thing is that a lot of us get caught up in the emotion of the day, and we end up spending much more than we actually had budgeted. So making sure that you budget, and also that you add some padding to it, because most individuals forget the dreaded tax. You are going to be spending probably about $1,400 just on taxes if you have that $28,000 wedding. So don't forget about that, too.
It also costs a lot to be a guest these days, doesn't it?
It does cost to be a lot to be a guest, and so you're going to need to ballpark at least $500 away, and 69 million of us are going to go to a wedding just this year. And of that $500, you're going to spend about $108 on a gift. How much should you spend? When we look at the numbers, a family member is spending about $179 for a gift, a coworker only $66. So if you don't have a space to invite the coworkers, you shouldn't feel so bad.
I feel less guilty now.
Less guilty.
All right, Stacy Francis, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Some really useful tips.